For my analysis of two children's picture books, I chose The Mitten, adapted by Jan Brett and Stan Tall, Molly Lou Melon, written by Patty Lovell and illustrated by David Cotreau. Let's get started with my presentation here. So here I have my main menu, and you can click on which book you'd like to start with, and I will go to the summary of the Mitten. So here's the cover picture. It's a Ukrainian folktale about a boy named Nicky, and his grandmother knits him a mitten, and he loses it in the snow, and that mitten becomes a home for the woodland animals. That is an important part of the story, but what I thought was really aesthetically, visually important was the cultural perspective that you see in the book. And we'll look right into their home. Initially, there is hand painted dishes on the shelf, there's design on the fireplace, and the fireplace might be the heat source because there doesn't show a lot of electricity, electronics, TV, nothing like that. The Ukrainian clothing is portrayed here between Nicky and his grandmother Baba. You see the embroidery and the colorful patterns. Um, you might see here that Nicky is shown wearing oversized clothes a little bit. The pants are baggy, his shirt is flowy, it's tied with a belt. And that is because typically fashion is underdeveloped in the Ukraine, and it's common in the culture, especially the unwealthy, for clothes to be passed down. You see Baba with her long skirt, which is traditional for women, shoes with buckles, and also heavy embroidery over here. The grandmother is also the only character shown alongside with Nicky, and so we gather that she might be the caregiver for Nicky. No other mention of other family members, but in the Ukraine, a grandparent living in the home and caring for younger children is actually common. They live in the countryside, which we can see here with the snowy mountains. They live in a small cottage with a thatched roof, the stork nest. We see colorful stitchwork, again, representing the culture in the Ukraine. We see the snowy countryside, which indicates the weather. We see the birch background, which is very important to notice. All of the pages have this birch background, and birch is actually a common tree in the Ukraine. And it's used for many purposes, such as making furniture, making oil and tar, and sap to consume for medicinal remedies. So we see that Jan Brett did an awesome job applying these cultural perspectives on here. We see in the beginning, Baba knitted the mittens for Nicky, and we also see a spinning wheel here. It might be a hobby for her as she probably stays at home most of the days, but it's also necessary for her to make clothing for the family because it doesn't look like they have a whole lot of money. We see pottery hanging from the fence here, and pottery weaving and stitchwork are common handicrafts. We see Nicky spending time alone. He's exploring the woodland animals. In the Ukraine, children tend to stay at home and live a sheltered life, so we see that as well. Now we're going to go to the next book here, and this hummingbird is a character in Stand Tall, Molly Lou Melon. And this story is about a less than perfect little girl who's short, clumsy, funny looking, and quirky. And she has encouraging words given from her grandmother to learn confidence and face the world and the class bully with a positive self esteem and determination. So I thought this book would be great to look at from the technical perspective. So let's get started here. From the very beginning, we see oversized objects to show the size. We see little Molly Lou here. We see oversized furniture with a ladder indicating how small she is. We see the cat is shown larger than Molly Lou, and we see that she's standing on a phone book just to look into the mirror. So everything's oversized to give that perspective. We see the angles that show the perspective as well. The shot is taken from the ground up, which gives the reader the perspective of Molly Lou, and then we see shots that are looking down upon her as the world is looking down at Molly Lou. And then this picture was an extreme close up, and it shows the greatness and power of her character despite her flaws. Her grandmother told her, despite the fact that she had buck teeth, to smile, and so she did. And this is a really great image that portrays her confidence and self esteem. We see the use of color throughout the book. Just from every page, you can see the illustrations on each and every page cover the entirety of both pages, which is called full bleed. We see a watercolor effect, which is whimsical, soft, and easy on the eyes. It's attractive, so just picking up the book, you're interested in what the story is. And then another common theme that I saw was that yellow was dominant in the pictures, even from the color to all the backgrounds. You kind of see yellow surfacing her face, yellow in the background. And from doing some research of psychology, yellow is a color of self esteem and optimism. So that actually was a perfect color to portray Molly Lou in this story. Also, from the technical perspective, Molly Lou's size is small. When she's nervous or failing, here's her first day of school. She's getting on the bus. She's saying goodbye for her first day. Here she broke dishes, and she's sort of shown very small here. And then on other times when she's exuding confidence, she's raised up. She's juggling. She's flying in the air. She's off the ground here, and the others are looking up at her, and she's on top of the bully, so she's showing her power and confidence. And that is the end of my presentation. So we can click back home, and there's a lot to look through with each of these books, but I decided to just go with the cultural of the Mitten because we see it, that it's different, and we see the environment from it right away. And then Stand Tall Molly Lou Melon was great from the technical perspective, but there's a lot of other ways that you can look at these stories, but this is the perspectives that I chose, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you.